Nothing keeps a viewer in their seats and eyes glued to the screen more than high-intensity action and gratuitous birthday suit shots. Most of the time, all of this is intentional and meticulously thought out. However, some actors don't want the most sacred parts of them out for the entire world to gander at, so directors do everything they can to ensure their privacy. However, sometimes even the best laid plans fall short of keeping everything under wraps. Make sure you take a quick moment to click on that subscribe button. You'll join our notification squad and stay up to date with these types of videos and more. One more thing, can you guess what feature film these emojis are showing? Find out at the end of the video. Alright, let's get started. Action!
So, maybe I can help you try on your crown or something.
Denzel Washington, Ricochet. Ricochet is one of those films you either love or hate. It isn't the biggest film of all time, but it has a huge cast with stars such as Kevin Pollak, John Lithgow, Ice-T, and the beloved Denzel Washington. In this movie, we gotta say, Denzel Washington is pretty flippin' awesome in it. And in it, he shows off more of his body than in any other film, albeit accidentally. Okay, it can't really be said that it's completely accidental, because he is in his birthday suit in the shot. Still, pausing makes him look a lot more naked than he appears in real time. The scene takes place in the men's locker room where Denzel is sitting in the buff but nothing is visible. When a female walks into the room, Denzel leaps up quickly and hides behind a locker door, cleverly hiding his manhood. In real time, it's too quick to see anything, but when you pause and go frame by frame, however, that move from the sitting position to behind the locker reveals more of Denzel than he probably cared to. His package, that is. That's right, ladies and gents, your man Denzel lets it all hang out. Just make sure to actually watch the entire movie because the story is also worth seeing.
Got you.
Okay, I see now. You didn't tell Marcus about New York.
Gabrielle Union, Bad Boys 2. Gabrielle Union is one of the most beautiful actresses on the planet, so people have poured over all her roles looking desperately for wardrobe malfunctions. Well, we hate to be the bearers of bad news, but after the help of over 100 interns, tens of thousands of hours of viewing, and a NASA research scientist leading the charge, we have discovered there's only one moment in all of the tapes. Oh wait, that's not bad news. That's great news. Oh, and it might have only actually taken one person to discover this. The beautiful gift from the heavens comes to us from the 2003 Bad Boys 2 starring Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, and none other than Miss Gabrielle Union herself. In this scene, Union throws a gun at a mine and then ducks. As she ducks, her outfit no longer covers her body the way it once did, and one of her areola becomes exposed. In real time, it's easy to see that the dress she's wearing is super skimpy and revealing, but nothing seems out of the ordinary. In slow motion, however, something is very much out of the ordinary. We'll let you be the judge of that.
Blokes all want to go and get yourself shot. Go ahead.
Mel Gibson, Gallipoli. While not a huge film on the global scale, this was one of Australia's biggest movies at the time in 1981 when it debuted. The film was directed by the infamous Peter Weir, who later would go on to direct the 1989 Dead Poets Society, 1999 The Truman Show, and 2003's Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. Gallipoli also starred Mel Gibson, who was coming off of his 1979 cult classic Mad Max. Gallipoli was also a film which was to show more of Gibson than anyone anticipated on seeing, especially Mr. Gibson himself. Well, that's what happened in a swimming scene. Gibson dives down to the seafloor, and little Gibson makes a very quick appearance. No amount of parental guidance can stop the children from seeing all of Mel if they have a pause button handy. First of all, the film is PG. Second of all, the scene in question is so quick and subtle that it had to have been accidental. Then again, if you're an actor filming a scene naked, you've got to expect that some parts of your body might make it onto the screen. And with the advancement of frame-by-frame viewing rearing its head back then, filmmakers weren't also prepared with how much of a scene they should leave in.
I'll have my medal back.
Cameron Diaz, Vanilla Sky, and Gangs of New York. Since Cameron Diaz has the identical wardrobe malfunction in both Vanilla Sky and Gangs of New York, as well as a few times in public, we wonder if this isn't something that happens to her all the time. Maybe on accident, or maybe they might be a bit intentional. We'll never really know. On top of all of this, Diaz has been in the buff in roles before, so it's not crazy to think she wouldn't mind a little slip of the nip coming out here or there. Well, get ready because we're going to point them out in case you are not familiar with these snafus. In Vanilla Sky, her character is tied up on the bed by Tom Cruise. She's wearing a see-through gown as is, but she covers up well. But then, as she flips over on her back, writhing about, her breast falls out of her gown a little bit. The moment is brief, and then she shakes it back in there. In Gangs of New York, a similar thing happened during an intimate scene with Leo. As she sits up, clearly believing that everything is in place, it's very easy to see everything is not in place. Once again, Diaz sways in the breeze.
You want a drink? I have some vodka in the fridge. We could have a drink.
Just take my picture.
Natalie Portman, Closer. Even though Natalie Portman plays a stripper in the 2004 film Closer, the actress is never shown in her birthday suit at all in the film. Sure, she wears skimpy outfits, and there was even talk non-clothed scenes were shot then taken out, but Portman never takes off her clothing in the film. Afterwards, she said the reason for this wasn't because she refused to go bare, but because the director, Mike Nichols, was against it. He wanted to see my bare hiney much less than even my father would. He's as or more protective of me than my parents are, so doing any physical stuff for him felt very uncomfortable. She may not have taken off all of her clothes in the film, but that didn't stop the bareness from showing through. In one scene, Portman sits on a booth speaking to Clive Owen, but her itty-bitty bra couldn't keep all of her stuff covered. For a good second or two, there's a nipple out in the open where it shouldn't be. No freeze frame needed for this one. Just watch, don't blink, and it's there for the world to see. Jessica Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The next movie moment comes from the 1988 animated title, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? But wait, how is an animated wardrobe malfunction accidental, you ask? Well, it most likely was not and instead purposefully orchestrated. Most of the time, these are scenes or moments which the animators were just having fun and never meant to make it into the big screen. Sometimes there is a malicious animator trying to seek revenge or cause malice of sorts. Either way, letting it get to the final cut of a movie is definitely a malfunction of some sort. The scene in question comes when Eddie and Jessica Rabbit are in a car accident. After crashing into a pole, Jessica Rabbit flies out of the car, does a 360, and her dress flies up. People have debated for years whether what we see is underwear or bare skin, but this was clearly not meant to be noticed by the human eye. It happens so fast that only pausing can catch it. But there it is, Jessica Rabbit, one of the most desirable cartoons ever drawn, is bare for the briefest of moments. Was this an animating mishap missed, or the devious plot of a wronged animator seeking to dismantle societal standards? Okay, maybe not so much the latter as the first. Either way, it's definitely delightful. Bruce Willis, Pulp Fiction. Like several of the scenes with male actors, the accidental bareness from Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction is kind of a sorry not sorry moment from Quentin Tarantino. After having a shower, Willis's character grabs a towel and then covers up. The camera is positioned outside of the bathroom looking in with a door frame covering a lot of the shot. Maybe perhaps this is why Willis felt comfortable and free enough to keep himself covered up. He most likely thought he had more coverage than he did. When he tries to act natural, drying off, he uses the towel to wipe his face, but as he pulls it away from his body to wipe his face and sit on the toilet all in one motion, there is the briefest glimpse of Willis's Willie. This is definitely a pause-worthy moment, as you will need to go frame by frame to even see what's going on. We aren't saying that it takes a lot of looking to see what Willis is packing, but it definitely goes by too quick for the human eye to see. If you're a die-hard Willis fan like we are, and your curious mind is not enough, take a gander. You will not be disappointed.
Well, thanks for the ride.
See ya.
Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman. This one isn't really as much of a wardrobe malfunction as it is a filming malfunction. But we're gonna allow it because, well, it's Julia Roberts in the acclaimed 1990 Pretty Women. Now, before we get into it, some of you out there who know about this might be saying this wasn't a malfunction of any kind. It was done on purpose. That is something which has been debated about how accidental it really was. However, we tend to believe it was missed by the editor. In one of the intimate scenes, Roberts is wearing a sheer gown that is completely see-through. As the scene picks up, the camera angle takes up behind a lattice wall of some sort, which makes any bodily details hard to spot. At least so the cameraman and director thought. Richard Gere then takes off Roberts' gown, and they continue on with the scene as if nothing happened. But let's go back a second. It's tough to spot, but in the moment that Roberts' gown comes off, one of her breasts is visible. Now, we know that Roberts doesn't do roles in the buff, so there's that to start with. Also, Pretty Woman is not a gratuitous film, even though Roberts does play a prostitute and there are some intimate scenes. Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Terminator. Remember in James Cameron's 1984 epic of all epic films, The Terminator, how Arnold Schwarzenegger is walking around bare at the beginning until he kills a whole bunch of people for their clothing? Yeah, So do we. Well, unfortunately for the world, Cameron was pretty clever in the tricks he used to keep Arnold's manhood sheltered. When you watch it, you're expecting so much but come up short with disappointment when nothing is revealed. You may think that a guy walking around totally bare should be expected to be seen a little, but we think the intention was to keep everything in the front below the waist hidden. But wait, after reviewing the scene over and over for countless hours in the name of science, we were able to find something. In one of the shots, a non-clothed Arnold is shown from a distance walking toward the camera. We can see he's naked, but the low light keeps any details impossible to spot. At least it's impossible to spot for the naked eye. Frame-by-frame analysis reveals one frame where everything becomes visible. The light brightens a bit and we see some movement down there. It's all so unexpected, which is crazy considering there's a giant naked man walking around on screen. Amy Smart, Crank, High Voltage. Amy Smart doesn't wear a whole lot in the 2009 film Crank, High Voltage. This isn't surprising at all for fans of hers, as we have seen her in The Buff in other roles as well. This is why we think there may have been some intention behind this wardrobe malfunction. But at the same time, it doesn't seem quite right. In one of the erotic scenes, there is a quick frame of what appears to be Smart's nether region. You heard us right. However, we believe this to be intentional and nowhere near a wardrobe malfunction, but that is up for debate. We also believe it to be a prosthetic nether region, as it is just too blatant to be a mistake. Perhaps this was done in an attempt to make something about the film go viral. There's another scene that seems a bit more genuine and really has us wondering. It comes when we get a close-up of Smart sitting on a motorcycle. The camera angle is really awkward to begin with, but it seems that Smart's little shorts/underwear didn't quite cover everything. Many believe that this malfunction is just too subtle to be intentional, and we tend to agree. Which wardrobe malfunction was your favorite? What scenes or moments would you have added to the video? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to share and like this video and click that subscribe button to join our notification squad so you can stay up to date with all of our videos. You don't want your friends to know more than you, do ya? Here's the answer for the emoji before we forget. Did you get it? Let us know. Thanks for watching.